Okay, so we're going to make this as simple as possible. And when we see fractions and equations, a lot of times we just skip them because it looks hard. But the good news is we've got some strategies now to make life easier. I just need to teach you how to put it all together. What we've practiced over the last couple of weeks is how to create common denominators, and that's essentially what you're going to do to get through these fractional equations. So hold on to your skill because we're about to get moving with it. What I want to do is I want to start with making sure you understand what we're looking at. As we solve a fractional equation, your goal is to get every denominator or every term's denominator to match. And once you do that in an equation, all you have to do is solve the top. Once this is done, you're going to rewrite your equation with the numerator only. That's the top. There won't be any more fractions in it. And then once you rewrite it with the numerator only, you're going to solve the equation for the variable. You're probably thinking easier said than done. Let me show you how easy this is. We're making this as simple as possible. So when we're dealing with fractional equations, no matter what, you're going to get every term's denominator equal. So if it doesn't have a denominator, you got to give it a 1. Then you're going to rewrite the equation with the numerator only and solve the equation for the variable. Let's see how this goes. The first problem that I want to take a look at with you is on page 131 in the book, and it is number 37. And number 37 says m plus 5/6 equals negative 11/12. Okay, so I see that there's fractions in this equation. Right away, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get every term's denominator equal. Now, part of this is knowing how to do last week's stuff, which is getting common denominators. So what I want to do first is take my equation, and I want to make sure that after I have my equation, I put my m over 1. Everyone needs a denominator. As soon as you see a fraction, everybody gets a denominator. So if it doesn't have one, you put a 1 under it. Our next step is try and match them. Now, we had some different strategies for getting common denominators. This is one where I'm going to look for a common factor. I know that 12 is 6 times 1. I know that 6 times 2. I know 6 is 6 times 1. And I know 1 is just 1 times 1. So I can get everybody to become a 12. How do I get the 1 to be a 12? I got to multiply it by 12, but I have to do it on top and bottom. Remember, whatever you do the bottom, you got to do the top. For the second fraction, I need to make the 6 into a 12. I'm going to do that by multiplying top and bottom by 2. I don't have to do anything to this guy because this one already has a 12. So my common denominator is 12. I have 12 on the bottom here. I have 12 on the bottom here. And I have 12 on the bottom here. So once I got every term's denominator equal, all of these on the bottom are going to be 12. That means I'm going to rewrite my equation on the top. So I'm going to take this guy right here. And I'm going to rewrite this equation on the top. Except I'm going to do a little bit of math along the way to save some time. All right, the 12s are all the same, so we can cancel all them out. And I'm just worried about the numerator now. So I'm in step 2 right here. So 12 times m is 12m. Positive 5 times 2 is 10. And that's just negative 11. There's nothing going on there. And our goal at this point is to solve for m. Now remember we said if there's a plus sign in it and we need to do inverse operations, we're going to subtract. So at this stage, we are solving the equation for the variable. I have to get rid of the constant first, so I'm going to subtract 10 on both sides. Positive 10 minus 10 cancel. I'm going to bring down this 12m. I'm going to bring down this equals. And this is negative 11 plus negative 10. And that's going to give me a negative 21. Don't be uncomfortable. These answers are college level answers, so you're going to get college level yuck. This is messy. Now we've got a multiplicative inverse. I got 12 and m, so I'm going to do the opposite of multiply, and that's divide. So I'm going to take and I'm going to divide both sides by 12 by putting 12 underneath a fraction bar. 12 divided by 12 cancels. M comes down. Equals comes down. And this is going to stay a fraction. Keep this in fraction form. It does not divide nicely. So negative 21 over 12. Then we're going to reduce it. So what number divides into 21 and divides into 12 with the same factor? 3. When I take negative 21 and divide by 3, I get negative 7. And when I do 12 divided by 3, I get 4. And there's my answer. Boom. M is negative 7/4. I know what you're thinking. This is a little bit different than what we've been used to. And typically speaking, people would skip this. But this is an easy way to do this. So we're going to embrace it, and we're going to try one more, and then I'll give you a chance to try some on your own. So we're going to take a look at number 41 in the textbook. 41 says negative 1/5 plus z equals negative 1/4. Now, as soon as you see a fraction in an equation, no matter what kind, you need to get a common denominator. So we have to get the denominators equal. The first thing we need to do is put our z over 1. Do you always have to do that? Yes, every single term needs a denominator. Now, I don't know about you, but 4 can't make 5 and 5 can't make 4. So what we're going to do is swap them, and we're going to end up with 20. 5 times 4 is 20. And that means that on the 5 denominator, I need a 4 on the bottom and a 4 on the top. On the 4 denominator, I need a 5 on the bottom and a 5 on the top. This is the part where people forget, so pay attention right here. On this one, I need a 20 because 5 times 4 is 20, 4 times 5 is 20. This needs to be a 20 on the bottom and a 20 on the top because now each and every term has the same denominator of 20. Get my highlighter out. I got 4 times 5 is 20, 1 times 20 is 20, 4 times 5 is 20. So I'm going to cancel out the denominators, and I'm going to solve this equation. So I'm going to rewrite this numerator, doing a little fancy math along the way. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. Z times 20 is 20z. Equal sign. Negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. There we go so far. Now what we're going to do is we are going to solve for z. So the first thing you have to move out of the way is the constant. Our constant is our negative 4. See how there's a minus there? Remember our inverse operation is to add. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. Negative 4 plus 4 cancels. We're going to bring down that 20z. Negative 5 plus 4 is a negative 1. Our last step is our multiplicative inverse. See how that's 20 times z? We have to do the opposite of multiply, which is divide. 20's cancel. And you're left with, keep it as a fraction, -1/20. I can't reduce that at all. There's no number that I can divide by top and bottom to make it smaller. So this is my answer. All right. Now that we've gone through 2 of these, we're going to go through and we're going to try another 2. Please watch the video. If you're confused, watch the video and see how to do the practice ones so that you can get good at them.